Hey friends, welcome back to Mastering Post-Production Sound. Today we're going to talk about food groups. We're going to talk about why, if you're not already using food groups with your sound effects and your backgrounds, why you should consider using those today and how it can help you get through your mix much quicker and more efficient. Hey friends, welcome back to Mastering Post-Production Sound. My name is Joel, sound re-recording mixer. I've been part of the industry for the past 16 years. I'm here to help empower you to navigate, believe, and thrive in the post-production sound industry. I have a session open that I wanted to kind of just really off the cuff, very relaxed video showing you why food groups are very important and why I rely on them consistently when I sit down to mix. Now you may be asking yourself, what is a food group? Well, food groups are basically groups of sound effects, okay? Where we have A effects, B effects, C, we just go down the letters, okay? And each one have a particular set of tracks in them. So I'm going to go ahead and take you real quickly, show you what's going on here. But when I have these food groups, it allows me to move much quicker. Let me show what I mean. Okay, so here's a quick look at my session template. Now, when I talk about food groups, what I'm talking about are these groups right here. So you see we have the A effects, we have the B effects there, we have the C effects, the D effects. Okay, these are my food groups, and that's what I mean about food groups. They're just basically groups of sound effects. I do the same thing with my backgrounds, and in my backgrounds, you'll see I have ABGs right here, and they go 1 through 8, mono, 1 through 8 stereo for this particular group of backgrounds. And then I also have a B BGs, C BGs, and then I have Walla right there, and an A and a B. And one of the most important things that I do with these food groups is I group them. Down here, you'll see, let me zoom in there a little bit. You'll see these groups right here. Right now, they're currently suspended, right? And if I go here, this is the quick keys right there, Shift Command G, but you'll see that I'm able to now have any one of these food groups follow a certain set of parameters. If I go in here, and I'll show you really quickly what I mean. I've modified these groups. Let's take a look. So right here, if I want to, let's just call up the A mono. So currently in this group are these tracks, AFX mono 1 through 8. And then you'll see over here in attributes, rather globals right here, I have everything selected. And what that means is I want every track in this particular group that I've called, what did I call it? AFX mono, right? I gotta watch my camera work here. AFX mono, every single track in here, when I change a parameter in the levels, the volume, or a mute, or a pan, or information that's going to the LFE, any of the other sense, rather the plugins and things like that, anything in there that I affect, everything in these tracks is going to be impacted, okay? And let's get out of this menu real fast. I'll show you what I mean here in the actual track. So let's go to effects. Let's go to the effects one. What I mean particularly is, for instance, I'm going to call up, let's get this over here so you can see. I'm gonna call up these two. We'll go this EQ and then this EQ. Now they're both on the same food group. One is, you can see right here, it's called AFX Mono 1, and then this is the EQ for AFX Mono 2. Now when I have my groups engaged, okay, when I make sure that they're not suspended, but it is engaged here, when I go into preview, okay, here's my, oh, there we go. Here's my preview button on the console. When I go into preview, now when I take this parameter and I start rolling some of the high end off, guess what's happening? It's also happening to the AFX Mono 2 track. You see, as I start to, you'll see, there we go. As I start to go back and forth, it's both moving. And that is happening specifically because it is in this food group of the AFX Mono tracks. Now, if I deselected the particular group there, when I go here and I start to move the parameter in the FX1 mono, guess what happens? Nothing's happening here, right? So I must have the group selected there. And there's a group name, AFX mono, for me now to grab a parameter in my EQ. Let's take the low end and it be affected on all the tracks. And you're gonna see, let's grab, that's 1. Let's look at 2. Look at that, rather 3. Track 3, look at it, has all the same moves, right? But look at, you'll see how, why does this one look different? It looks different because there was automation in this one before. So it's only registering the low end information that I just asked it to engage because I had suspended it previously, or rather I didn't have that on. So when I'm working in these food groups, I make sure that in my groups modifiers right here, I have all the global settings here. Now, if I was in a, let's go like this, in something easier so you can see, but let's say the mutes, right? Let's go to mutes real quickly. If I am, oops, let me just make this a little bigger. Okay. Do you see what just happened right now? When I click the mute, all of the tracks in the group followed what I told it to do. And I told it to do that, again, right here in the groups. Let's go to modify groups. And that's because in this particular set right here, these tracks 1 through 8, I told it to globally follow what I'm telling it to do. Now, of course, in the track setting there, if you want to add any other tracks, let's say if you add more tracks besides 8, let's say you have double the amount, 16 mono, then you would just be able to add tracks from this left side. And you simply do that by, let's see, let's just find a track. Like pretend this track needed to go over there. You would just go like this. You would add the track and then hit OK. Now, I don't want that in there, so I'm going to remove that. I could also just hit cancel. Okay, but that's a little bit about groups. And on the bigger picture, these food groups, let's just go like this. Let's get out of preview. These food groups, right, could be different things. On a series I was doing a while ago, a bunch of the DC Comics superhero stuff, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, Stargirl, even when I helped out on the Flash and whatnot, these food groups represented a lot of different things. We had our A effects, usually were, you know, hard effects, anything that's pretty simple. But as we went into these particular tracks, these then were our combat tracks. And then our C effects were our hero tracks. So it was like anything with our superheroes would be on there. And then we had the next one, D, we just called them, I think, like villain. So anything in here was villain related. And because you can imagine in a superhero show, there was a lot of, there were villains, there were bad guys, good guys, bad guys. we had that stuff here. And then my last, which I don't have them here. Actually, let me see real quickly. Yeah, I don't have them here. Oh, here we go. See, I have some inactive ones. You'll see how, let's just bring these back. So you could see how many food groups. So I have inactive E, F, G, H. Let's go up to here. Okay, so just let me show you. You'll see here, you see all these inactive food groups. On another project I had these full. I had effects here. Oops, I can't send. I'm not showing you. I had effects down there. I had effects here. I had effects in the F food group, in the E food group, and there was all different stuff. But you see, look how wide and big this can get. This can get rather large. Now, that was for a feature film, of course. You know, we have more time, we have more resources, more budget and everything. But going back to the DC Comics stuff, we had a dedicated food group set of tracks. Let's pretend it was these E tracks that we called transportation. So everything that lived in these tracks had to do with cars, motorcycles, helicopters, anything related to transportation. And so as I'm mixing quickly, I know, okay, that's always going to be down there. So let's say if I had some elements here, then the next time I had a vehicle thing was over here, I can easily see, okay, I'm going to just mix the vehicles, go here, go over here, over here. Same thing like over here. This, I believe, this is more like some sound designy stuff. So I knew that I could go here, mix that, and then go down, to the next section and then mix those and go to those. So the food groups are an easy way to organize. And when it comes to backgrounds, this is pretty simple. This is pretty basic and simplistic here. But you'll notice, this is an editor's suggestion tip, but you'll see that we'll have the checkerboarding. So you have backgrounds here, and then you go down to here, and then you come back up there. Every once in a while, you'll have where you start off, like maybe this whole scene, I believe this is it's at a marina. So these tracks are consistent throughout the scene. However, within the overall scene, the characters went into a different part of, where the marina or something. So we still had and maintained that background, those background tracks, but then, they go into another room or back room, or they go outside, and then we add to that. But you'll see we have this scene, and then we go to another scene, and then we come back up. So we checkerboard. That's a very important technique for sound editorial, and it's very helpful for us mixers as we sit down and we mix. We got to get through a lot of content fast. So food groups are very beneficial because they allow us to keep certain tracks in certain areas where we can always be accustomed to them. Back in the day, a lot of the effects and the backgrounds would be separated, and there'd be a lot of space in between, but they would keep tracks. Like, let's say, for instance, winds. Winds would always be on these channels. Insects would be on another set of tracks. Winds would be carbis, bis, wallas, things like that. It'd be very separated. These days, with Pro Tools and the ability to have as many tracks as you want, I am a fan of keeping everything condensed. Everything's smaller. Nothing. It's so hard because when I'm here, I'm trying to fly. I'm trying to really get through things pretty quickly. And the thing that really it just bugs me and it's difficult to do is if I hear a track and I'm searching for it, I'm like, where is it at? It's somewhere over here. Where did it go? Or for instance, I had all these. Let's go over here. I had all these. Let's take a look. Ooh, check this out. Watch. On the fly here. So if I'm going through and I'm looking at this stuff, I'm like, where's that sound? Where's that sound? It's somewhere here, and I don't know where it is. So it's important to organize things in a way that will be most efficient for you and your workflow. Look, I think having communication between editorial and mixing is super important. If you are a sound effects editor, Get the feedback from your mixer. Ask them, hey, how would you like your tracks laid out? Sometimes, especially in TV, we don't have enough time to get precious with all the tracks. We do the best we can with the amount of time that we have. So having things really spread out like they used to do back in the day in film is not convenient. It's more convenient to have backgrounds that are more closely tight together, like I showed you a little bit here. Things are just more condensed because I can't be searching when I don't have time to go through that. When you're on a film, you have a lot more time. You can get very precious with your backgrounds and your effects. Now that's just mainly on the effects side of things over here, but food groups, again, they're going to be your friend. You know, you can think of it similar to like folder tracks. Folder tracks are great. You know, I know I've been at some facilities where they can't handle the folder tracks because maybe their systems or their computers are older or out of date. So it's safest to, you know, when you don't have folder tracks, this is sort of a way I like to use my workflow. It's just simple. Food groups are your friend. My friend. Food groups are your friend. So consider, you know, coming up with the system that works for you. Again, this is the way I do things. It helps keep things organized and efficient when I'm mixing. So thanks for tuning in for this week's episode. Just a little bit more hands-on for this week. If you're new here, thank you for being here. I'm so happy that you are a part of here. Look, friend, the post-production sound industry is notoriously cold. It's notoriously lonely. It can be very isolating. So don't do life alone, my friend. Find your tribe. I'm happy that you're here. You know, this week I got to meet with my inner circle group coaching community, and I absolutely loved my time with them. And this is my tight-knit group. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Lovely people. We get together and we talk, and we encourage, we walk through, we coach you on the spot here. It's my tribe. And if you don't have a tribe, I highly encourage you to find a tribe. Find a group of people, a group of like-minded individuals who are on the same journey as you, and be around them, because we're not meant to do life alone. And if you did miss the opportunity when I briefly opened the doors to my inner circle private group coaching community, and you don't want to be left out next time, get on the wait list now. Go to masteringpostproductionsound.com/inner circle, and you can sign up to be on the wait list the next time I open the doors. It doesn't have to be my group, but find your own tribe. Find a tribe. If it's not mine, find something that speaks to your heart, because, friend, we are not meant to do life alone, nor are we supposed to do this industry alone. So thank you for being here, friend. And if you are new here, I just want to say thank you for being here. And I have a free gift for you. It is the Insider's Guide to Navigating the Post-Production Sound Industry. It's my gift to you. So head to masteringpostproductionsound.com/insider's guide to grab your free copy. Thank you, friend, again. Appreciate every comment. I'm blown away by just the growth, the number of people that have tuned in and considered hitting subscribe. So thank you for doing that. I will see you in next week's episode or in one of these other videos on the side. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. See you next time.